radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. Today's Monday, November 2nd, 2020. "307 days into the new year. Only 59 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? All right. Now, tonight we're going to do a recap of the Queen Mary ghost hunt. Went down all weekend long. I was there Friday night. We'll be talking about that. And tonight we have two very special guests with us. Coming up first, from Phoenix, Arizona, researcher Tony Rathman will be here. And I posted a quick interview of Tony over on Facebook. And if you want to check that out, you can head over to Facebook. And I you know what? I think I got it up in Twitter today. So you can go and check it out and scope out Tony. So it's there. And then right after that, the producer of the event, Jay Bloomke, is going to be here. And it was Jay, if you were there hanging out with everyone. You know Jay by now. He was manning the chair and hosting the event on the ship. It was absolutely incredible. He did such a great job. And I'm not so sure how much action he's had on that side of the camera. He's produced a lot of television shows. He's a real industry veteran, and he knows what he's doing. And but the roles were reversed. So there you go. And I'm looking at did that man see? I think my camera angle. I could tell by looking at the camera was pointed in the other. Is that better? See, this is in focus now. If I do this, see, I can't even tell. What is in focus? See, I can't even tell. I can't even tell anymore what's going on. Am I in focus? Am I out of focus? Doesn't it even matter? Who cares? All right, but I can tell it's the right angle. But anyway, so yeah, Jay had it all turned around on him. He did a great job. So Jay is going to be here. They were there for 4 days investigating that ship, and more on that in just a bit. That's what we are going to be doing tonight. I did post a few videos over on Facebook where you can go and check them out playing the videos here. They're really long. Wouldn't make any sense. And I do have a few other videos that I shot that haven't been posted yet. Some are really long, so I think I'm going to go and do a quick edit, but I'll get those out there too as well. I'm just showing the size of the ship and the interiors and things. I wasn't ghost hunting with video running. And besides, it's Jay's show, not mine. So I won't be posting any of that video. I don't have any anyway. So, okay. And more on everything else in just a bit. Now, tonight is November 2nd. We all know what's going on, and I'll be speaking about that more in just a bit. But tomorrow night, we are presenting our election night special event. And tomorrow night, Race Hobbs is going to join us. And Jeff Harmon is going to be here to talk about where we are at tomorrow night. We have no idea. I am going to be here live, just like we did last in 2016. That show lasted until midnight. We're not going to do that this time. We're going to end at 10 o'clock where the chips fall. I don't think we are going to have a new president elect tomorrow night announced. I don't feel that, but there's a possibility. And there's also a possibility that there could be a landslide in the election in either direction. And maybe somebody will concede tomorrow night. I don't know. But it's a historic day. So we are going to do that tomorrow night. Really looking forward to it. Race is a great guy. He's an American and he loves his country. And the same thing with Jeff. I know them both rather well. And Jeff is an astrologer. And he has been talking about a few things about the future of the country. And I thought, what a better night. Not before the election. How about election night? Let's bring Jeff on because I'm more interested in not so much tomorrow night, but Wednesday and Thursday and the rest of the year. So Jeff Harmon will be here with us tomorrow night, co-hosting the show with me. Wednesday night is another election night show. We're going to do election night the day after. All right? Now, and we did it for a few reasons. Okay, so just let me explain why we did it this way. Number one, tomorrow is going to be one of the most historic evenings in the history of the United States. So that's going down. We have to do that show. But with everything that is going on out there, I can't ignore what is going on, and making this show a safe space for me to go to escape the realities of the world, that's fine. 362 or 3 days of the year. But Wednesday, if anything that is being reported right now and talked about, not only in the media, but by you and others in social media, about the boarding up of things around the country and storefronts and things being shut down and the new fence being installed around the White House. This stuff sends a message to people. And so what is Wednesday going to be like? Maybe it's going to be just another normal day. And if it is, after all of the drama building up to it, that's a show worth having the day after when it's all calm. Or if it's the opposite. And if you are going to be spending your time here on this show and away from the news and away from all of that, and there's stuff going on, no, that's not the right way to handle this large audience. So 2 nights in a row. And we'll be talking about this for a long time. So there you go. I still talk about the 2016 election night show. All right. Okay, JC, what did I miss? You okay, buddy? No, actually, the stuff that went down, Scott, at the Queen Mary, it took me out, and yeah, there was so much there that I can't talk about. Not in public. Can't do it. Maybe one day I'll tell you about it off of the air. Oh, man. I'll explain all this. I'll do it. I'll do it Thursday night on Fader Night. I'll tell everybody what I'm talking about. All right. And then Thursday night is Fader Night with open lines all night long. And again, I posted out in social media today that always remember, Fader Night is unscripted, it's uncensored, it's unscreened, it's unfiltered. It is just you calling in with whatever you want to talk about. And every time on Fader Night, when I try to lay out a cool subject to talk about, tonight let's talk about time travel. Tonight let's talk about Egypt. Tonight let's talk about, whenever I lay a subject out on the table and I do a 20-minute rant and I get everybody fired up, I think not one phone call is about that. It goes off in its own direction, which is fine. And that's what's going to happen on Thursday. So we need to think about this. Tomorrow's November 3rd, drama. November 4th, drama. November 5th, the drama continues. And that's the night where we get back to our normal programming, which is whatever you want to talk about. And that's going to go down on Thursday. All right, a couple of things. I want everybody to go and visit forbiddenknowledge.tv. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can head straight over there and click and go and check out the amazing television network that Billy Carson has put together. He's got a new book coming out, and I will just let everybody know that I wrote the foreword to the new book. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that for somebody that is out there making changes in the world. And so that's coming out. But I want everybody to go to forbiddenknowledge.tv and check out everything that he has got going on over there. It's incredible. The links are at jimmychurchradio.com. Also, Carolyn Ford, yes, Crystal Skulls, Einstein the Crystal Skull.com is the website, and the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com throughout social media. Use the promo code Jimmy, and you will get 10% off of your Crystal Skull order today. And there you go. All right? All right. Here we go. Let's get started. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. The world is talking about it. That's a pretty good gift. All right, there. Absolutely, I'll be hanging with Jimmy, and the Fader is going to stay home with. See, that's what I'm saying. Chuck, you and Kara stay home, hang out with the Fader. And who are you going to trust with the news tomorrow? Who are you going to trust? Right? Right here, Fade to Black. Fade to Black, that's where you want to be tomorrow night. Our safe space. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. All right, let's get to the breaking news. Centaurs. Yeah, you know what a centaur is. Greek mythology, right? Oh, by the way, who has seen The Blood of Zeus? Have you guys peeped that out yet? I don't know if it's Amazon or Netflix, but it's an anime cartoon called The Blood of Zeus. Don't worry about the cartoon part. This is full adult stuff. I didn't know they did that kind of stuff in cartoons. The Blood of Zeus, absolutely amazing when it comes to the Greek gods and the demigods and telling a story. It's pretty cool. Go check it out. Anyway, centaur. You know what a centaur is, but no, you don't. A centaur are rare celestial objects that can combine some of the different features of asteroids and comets. That's right. They're basically rocks like asteroids, but they also throw out clouds of dust in the exhaust system. That's right. They vaporize like comets. They're called centaurs. They are extremely rare. We have only found 8 14 active centaurs in the last century. But now a new one has been added to the list, and it's called Centaur 2014 OG 392. Original Gangsta 392. Researchers did it with new data gathered from the Dark Energy Camera at the Inter-American Observatory and the Walter Bay Telescope at the Las Campanas Observatory, both of them in Chile, and the Large Monolithic Imager at Lowell Observatory's Discovery Channel Telescope in Arizona. How crazy is that? That's right. Now, we have to remember that, I'm going to get to this in a second, because now I was just talking about centaurs, right? Asteroids, meteorites, that kind of stuff. A meteorite that landed on a frozen lake back in 2018, we talked about it right here live on the show, lighting up the skies over Ontario, Canada. You guys remember that, right? Over Michigan and the Midwestern United States. Weather radar tracked the fallen fragments to Strawberry Lake in Hamburg, Michigan. An international team of researchers then examined a walnut-sized piece of the meteorite, about this big, while it was still fresh, they said, and their analysis revealed more than 2,000 organic molecules. That's right, dating to when our solar system was just starting. Similar compounds may have seeded us, the emergence of microbial life right here on planet Earth. How crazy, 2,000. Can you say Andromeda strain? Yeah. Pandemic happened right after that. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying. Yeah, there it is. Blood of Zeus. Yeah. You've got to watch it. I'm watching everybody tweet right now. Is Demi Moore a demigod? No, she is not. Rick Astley for president. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Karamo Brown is 40. And you're saying to yourself, Jimmy, who was Karamo Brown? Karamo Brown was a cast member on my History Channel show, The Unexplained. And he is a really cool guy and very, very smart and completely awake. Karamo Brown today is 40. Katie Lang today is 59. Yeah. Did you know that John 5, the John 5, right? Rob Halford, Rob Zombie, and played in that other crazy band. Anyway, John 5 was the guitar player for Katie Lang. Yeah, he was like 18. Man can play. Poison bassist Bobby Dahl today is 57. And our dead guy's birthday today is Keith Emerson, 1944 to 2016, died at the age of 71. Keith was, of course, a founding member of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, otherwise known as ELP, one of the early supergroups. That's right. Emerson wrote and arranged much of ELP's music on albums such as Tarkus, Brain Salad Surgery. I wrote Welcome Back, My Friends, to the show that never ends. I wrote that on every desk I ever sat at in high school until I graduated. That's right. Emerson died at his home here in Los Angeles on March 11, 2016, of a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Committed suicide. On this day in history, OTD 1971, the Hughes flying boat, the Spruce Goose, at one time the largest aircraft ever built, is piloted by designer Howard Hughes on its first and only flight right next to where the Queen Mary is docked today. The dome where they had the Spruce Goose is still there next to the Queen Mary. I don't know what they do in there. They took the Spruce Goose out, cut it apart, put it on boats, And I think they took it to Oregon. I think it's in a museum up there now. It's no longer next to the Spruce Goose. All of the advertising here in L.A. was the Queen Mary and the Spruce Goose. You go down there with the family. You get to see both at the same time. Spruce Goose isn't there anymore. But isn't it ironic that did the ghost hunt this weekend, and today that is my On This Day in History. Fate or fact, in 2009, Contora, a Latvian company, offered short-term loans of up to $500 with their clients signing their immortal soul as collateral. And that's your fate or fact. That's a fact. And as a matter of fact, Contora, what they ended up doing, they didn't even want your last name. You could go in and get a loan for $500, tell them your name was Bob, and you sign the contract, signing away your soul, they will give you $500. And they left it on you. You pay it back. If you don't, we're not going to come after you. Don't need any information on it. We're not going to come out because we own your soul. And that's what they would tell. And they put out a lot of money, a lot of loans. I just don't know how much of it they paid back or how many souls they own today. Tonight is our Queen Mary Ghost Hunt recap. And we have guests tonight, Jay Bloomke and Tony Rathman. Both gentlemen are on their way back from the Queen Mary en route to their homes. And it's a race to see who is there first, and that'll be our first guest. My money's on Tony Rathman. He's driving to Phoenix, and I think he's going to beat Jay Bloomke home. Jay lives here in L.A. He's stuck in L.A. traffic. I guarantee it. Tony Rathman has got a free shot all the way to Phoenix. But Tony will be with us at the top of the hour. All right. Well, let me hit this River Moon Coffee in McMinnville, Oregon. Thank you for that, John. The Spruce Goose is now in McMinnville, Oregon. All right. RiverMoonCoffee.com. Faded Black Blend. That's right. F2B Blend. 15% off of your order today. That's the promo code. Click on the banners at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Well, we are here. You didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. It's officially November 2nd, the eve of the 2020 presidential election. Now, one of the things that I had sort of predicted last month was that there might be a breaking huge UFO story that would overtake the politics for a moment before the election. That obviously didn't happen. Well, we do have an asteroid flyby that is happening later tonight. But other than that, we got nothing. We actually had Tucker Carlson. That's right. We actually had him. We actually had Tucker Carlson doing his weekly UFO news on Fox, prime time. But even that has dropped off dramatically to almost crickets. For some reason, and I don't know why, but the activity on social media has also disappeared. Sightings, big reveals, the UFO drama, it's all but gone. The question is why? What happened? Could it be as simple as the entire nation is on edge? Maybe. And that includes the UFO community? Sure. That's part of it. But there is another thing going on, and that there is a certain group of influencers inside of the UFO community right now who are responsible for breaking stories and drama, who are right now fighting over politics. That's right. Well, not politics exactly, but conspiracy theories and really crazy claims. Now, I'm not going to get into details, but all of this stuff, no, scratch that. All of this stuff is kept inside and on the down low. I just happen to be part of a couple of circles, right? But I'll say this. I've stayed out of it. I have. The absolute fabricated drama flying around is mind-blowing. And I just sit back and I read the back and forth between the individuals in these two groups. It's two groups in about three different circles. It's not one. That's right. They are red and blue. And I'm literally laughing. Both sides have insiders from China and Russia. That's right. And they're talking about the plans that are in place to take over the United States if one or the other is elected tomorrow. And they know exactly what's going to happen, and this is going to happen. I'm talking crazy stuff. Deals between Putin and Trump. Deals between China and Biden, and the second that they get elected, Trump is moving in, and everything is going to get announced, and Putin, and it's like and I'm not. Look, I'm leaving the details out, but it's insanity, and they believe it. At least I think they do. The name calling that is going on, the mudslinging, it's truly insane, and it's comedy of the highest order. I could blow the lid off the entire UFO community all the way around. All I have to do is just publish some of this stuff. Your mind would be blown. Oh, man. People you respect. I guarantee it, man. Name calling. I mean, just like kids. Oh, man. But the one guy that we had was Tucker Carlson. And now these circles that I'm in, right? It's crazy. Now they've totally thrown Tucker under the bus. They've thrown Tucker under the bus because since he ran away from Hunter Biden and that conspiracy, they're saying now that Tucker has been compromised and that he can no longer be trusted. And this is why Tucker has stopped the UFO news. Nobody trusts Tucker anymore, right? And is this the reason? I don't know. But I can say probably, at least for now, no matter who gets elected tomorrow, we'll have way too many breaking headlines over the next few months or years that are going to take way too much of Tucker's time. I'm telling you right now. And the rest of mainstream media. Will a breaking UFO story be strong enough to overtake the conspiracies that are about to surface over the next year? Well, that depends on what kind of UFO news, right? I don't know. But what will it take? You have to understand, today we have a war on the border of Armenia that has barely been mentioned by the mainstream. Today, a terror attack in Vienna, and the terrorists are armed and on the loose right now as I speak to you. Hardly a mention in the media, right? Beheadings in France and teachers and things and crazy just stuff going on around the world. Have you seen what's going on in Warsaw, in Poland? And abortion? Have you seen the women taken to the streets? 50,000 people and women. 50,000 women in downtown Warsaw. We're going to stop cooking, working, feeding you, doing anything unless you change the law. Right now, barely a mention in the media, if at all. Think about that. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our Queen Mary Ghost Hunt Recap special event. Top of the hour, Tony Rathman is here live from Phoenix. We'll swing that around, I guess, at the bottom of the hour, depending on LA traffic. Jay Bloomke is going to be here. He was the host and the producer of the event. And we're going to talk about everything that went down over the last 4 days. I had a couple of things that happened. I'm going to tell you about everything when I come back after this short break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio right now. Get in on the action. I'll be right back.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our Queen Mary ghost hunting recap special. At the top of the hour, Tony Rathman is going to be with us. He is coming to us live from Phoenix. And then at the bottom of the hour, Jay Bloomke is going to be here. He was the producer and, of course, the host of the event. Did a great job, by the way. And he'll be with us at the bottom of the hour and run to the end of the show with us. And this is where I normally introduce a guest, and the guest is me. That's pretty cool. So I get to just tell you how it went down. And I don't know exactly where to start, but the event was 4 days long. Started on Thursday, went through yesterday. Today they were tearing down the ship, not tearing down the gear that was installed on the ship. I did post a few videos over on my Facebook page, and if you want to go and check those out, if you haven't already, it'll give you a basic layout of some of the things that I'm about to say right now to kind of set up things. Now, for me, well, okay, directly. I know what you want to know the good stuff first. And this isn't normal radio. So I'm going to say this at the onset. 2 things went down in 2 different rooms at 2 different times that absolutely 100% were real and blew my mind and freaked me out. So I will get to, so I'm letting you know now what that was. Okay, so incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, let me lay this out for you. I arrived, most of this was posted up in social media, but for those of you that didn't catch it, just let me lay it out for you like this. I arrived down there at about 4 p.m. I was an hour late. I got stuck in traffic. It was supposed to be an hour drive, turned out to be a 2-hour drive. And I was by myself. Rita had to stay back and work and do some other stuff, and she couldn't go with me. She was so disappointed, and knowing what ended up going down, she really wishes that she was there, but okay, she wasn't there. I was by myself. So I arrive at 4 p.m. The first thing that happens is outside of the ship, I had to go through COVID testing, and it was pretty strange to go through to see COVID testing go down now. And 222. Oh, I'm looking at Tony. He is okay. It looks like Tony's good. Racing to Phoenix, and so they did it via blood, not with a swab. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but I was assuming it was going to be some kind of swab and some kind of instant test. I don't know about the different tests that are out there, but they did it with blood. Prick my finger, put it on this little plastic instrument thing, testing kit. Put my blood on there. Boom. 15 minutes later, I was cleared to go on the ship, and there we go. So, but for 15 minutes, while I was waiting for my test results to come in, I'm there. And what you have to understand is that this was an exclusive event for the Dark Zone, that we had not only the entire ship to ourselves, but the property and everything there. It was empty. If you've ever been down to the Queen Mary, you know that there's a parking lot there that holds a few thousand cars. It's huge. There's restaurants down there. Everything's closed, completely empty. Not a single soul, nothing. The only cars that were there were those that were part of the ghost hunting, and I'm talking about 10 cars in this giant parking lot. And so it was the silence, right? I got to take it all in. I'm standing next to the ship, and not anybody the 2 nurses that did the COVID testing were there. My escort and security was there. Other than that, it was empty. The silence. To stand next to a ship this big, I don't know how many decks, right? I don't know, 10, 15 decks on this ship. In the black section, you can count the portals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably another 4 decks that are in the white section of the ship, that it's black and white. So it's probably 10 decks, maybe more. And it's huge. And I walked from the front of the ship. I popped a selfie in the front underneath the Queen Mary. There's a Soviet submarine that is there too as well. I took pictures of that. I didn't post them yet. But so I go there. I walk all the way down to the back of the ship, and I just looked. I shot a video of that. That's up on social media. And just to capture the emptiness of everything. And it was, I don't know how to say it. She is a beautiful ship, and it's big. And I'm looking at it just thinking, it's totally empty. There's nobody there. right? We have this ship to ourselves. So, boom, I clear COVID testing. And then I've got my escort, and we head onto the ship, and we go up and we walk in, and I go into the main nerve center where all of the hardware is there, all the video, the switching systems, the audio for the cameras, and all the remote stuff is in this central lounge. There's a great video of it. This isn't like what you're thinking. The amount of technology that they installed on the ship, the miles of optical cables, you can see when you go in. And Kathleen Burns, the executive producer, and her team, and I'm observing. The first thing you do, you look at catering. That's what you do. That's your judge of what's going on. And they had catering laid out on like 4 tables. I was like, okay, all right, here we go. This is pro. Anyway, and so that video is there, and you can see the level of technology and how serious this ghost hunt was going to be in this production. So I go through all of that, and then I walk through perfect. Let me do a quick text. Perfect. Just that's Tony letting me know he's ready to go. And we go through. Now, I go to the main set, and there are pictures of that in the ballroom. And the ballroom, I can't explain. The ship is so big, you don't really realize it until you do things like you walk into the ballroom and you see the size of it. You think that you're in some huge hotel in New York or Miami or San Francisco or Paris or whatever. The wood and it's incredible, and it's huge. And yeah, right. Okay. So we go through all of that. Now I'm going to cut to the chase. Our first investigation was in the Churchill Suite, Winston Churchill. And so we go up with the team, and we are in the room. Tony's with me. He's going to be with me at the top of the hour. And we're in this suite. And it's a nice suite, by the way. It's like 2 rooms. There's a bedroom and a living room area and a dining room, little kitchen area. Nice. It's pretty nice. And bigger than what I thought. And so in this room we have where I am sitting, the portals are here. Here's the back wall. And there's a couple of cameramen, maybe 3, a sound guy with a boom mic. He's here. They're all on this side of the room. All of the investigators are in front of them. I'm first. Sitting across from me is Tony Rathman. He's facing me. His wife, Cherie, is next to him. And then everybody else is on this side of the room. Okay, and we turn off the lights. And as we are doing this EVP session, and I'm running my Tascam recorder, it's there. I've got my night vision. We were using that in the room too as well. And we go through, we're in this room for about 45 minutes. And the back and forth with the EVP and some of the things that were going on was pretty interesting. And the K2 meters are going off, and there were some things that were happening. And it was really fun. But then there was this moment where, because we ask a question. You've seen Ghost Adventures and these ghost hunting shows. You ask a question, and then you wait for a response, and then you ask another question. But the room itself is silent. You can hear everything. And it was at one of these moments where we were going through these questions, and we ask a question, and then from my right, and this is in the dark, okay? There were candles that were lit, but it was in the dark. From my right, I hear a female voice, loud, clear go, and it was loud. And I shoot a look at Tony, and Tony's looking at me. I don't know who said it first. Did you hear that? But we both said it. And I freaked out. I freaked out because I heard it. And I turned to my cameraman, Greg, who's standing here. And I said, Greg, talk to me. And he's like, what's up? I said, well, that wasn't you. Okay. And it was And Nathan, the other cameraman over here, who's like 6'6", it wasn't his voice. The sound, you know what I mean? These are men over here. Now, Tony, who is sitting in front of me, Tony's going to be with us at the top of the hour, and we can get his opinion on everything. By the way, I haven't recorded. I haven't had the time to go and analyze the file. I'm going to send the file to Tony. He just got back to Phoenix. He's an EVP expert. He'll look at the files and I'll play that section, my version and Tony's after he does his analysis because he'll do magic with it. Tony, who's facing me, he's against the wall. He thought it came from behind him in that direction, which would have been behind Nathan. I thought it came like right from here. Okay, Tony thought it came from over here. I thought it came from right here. That was pretty interesting. Again, this is a voice that doesn't have a mouth attached to it. It was just like in the ether, but it was loud and it was real in the silence. All the women that were with us, all the ladies, they were all on that side of the room. And again, everybody was quiet as we were doing these EVP sessions. So I heard it. I heard my first spirit voice. That's it. It really happened. All right. So there's that. That right there was worth the price of admission. I felt like a professional ghost hunter. And I heard my first voice. It was a trip. Okay, so then our next investigation, and there was other things that went on in that room, by the way. We'll talk to Tony about that. Our next investigation was all the way up on the very top of the ship. The suite that we were on was below decks. I don't know. We went from the main deck. We went down like 4 flights. We were 4 decks below. The next investigation was all the way on the top deck of the ship in a lounge called Sir Winston's, named after Winston Churchill. And it took a while to get up there. The ship is huge. But we walk, and I posted a picture earlier of me on the top underneath the smokestack. This is right outside of the entrance to Sir Winston's. But as you can see, it's that you can't go any higher. It's the top deck of the ship, except for that little railing that is around the smokestacks. But where I'm standing, it's right there. I'm standing on the teak wood of the top deck. So we go into Sir Winston's, and which is a small lounge. And if you saw it on the television broadcast, then you could see the setup of the lounge. But typical lounge in that when you walked in, there's a bar on the end of the room, just a full service bar. In front of that is a grand piano. And then in front of that is a lounge with tables in the middle. It's not very big. At tops, if everybody was, you're talking about 50 people in this lounge. There are these little 2-seat booths that go along the walls and tables in the middle, maybe 50 people. So it's not very big. We had on that investigation probably 3 or 4 camera crew plus sound, and then the rest of us that were there to do the investigation. And part of that investigation was Bernie Kay. If you saw it, Bernie Kay, the singer of Sound Barrier, and that was really cool. More on that later. and myself and Patrick Doyle. Okay, the Patrick Doyle. So he's there too as well. Okay, so we were doing sessions with the Estes method, and I think we did 3 sessions with that. I didn't do it. I was asking the questions, but that took about an hour to get through that. Very interesting. The Estes sessions are pretty mind-blowing to go through. We had 3 or 4 people asking questions. That was pretty cool. But probably, I think the best way, if I do a Estes session in the future, one person is asking questions. You want to lead the conversation and not lead have one conversation. Other people are thinking different things, and they're thinking of different directions. And I think it gets a little out of focus. But nonetheless, very, very interesting. Okay, now let's get to the point. We're done. And we know that we're winding down. It's about 11 o'clock at night. And at that moment, we had finished the Estes sessions, and we were talking about the last session on camera and discussing everything that was happening. And then where I was sitting, okay, so here's the layout of the room. Here's the bar. Here's the grand piano. We're sitting at this front table right here. The whole back half of the lounge was empty. In this back corner of the lounge over here in this corner is a doorway, and you could a doorway to a hallway. I never went back there. I didn't even know the door was there. Everything on the ship is off limits unless you have an escort. So there were bathrooms that we could use below deck, but everything else, it's like off limits unless you have an escort. So I wasn't concerned about what was in the back of this thing. We were shooting with the cameras in the front of the lounge, right? And the lights are down. So in this dark corner, you could see this doorway. There was a light on the inside of it in this hallway, but it was back there. Nobody paid attention to it. I didn't. And I'm sitting there in my chair, and we're talking. And again, a moment of silence. And in this moment of silence was this door closed, just loud. And I looked, and that's when I noticed the doorway. What was that? So I get up, and if you saw it on the video, you saw what went down. Camera follows me, and we walk to the back, and now I see it's bathrooms. It's a gentleman's and a lady's bathroom. Wow, okay. Didn't know that these were back here. I open up the gentleman's bathroom door. I look in. Camera's behind me. There's nobody in there. It's empty. And then I release the door, and it closes, but it wasn't the same thump. It was like, it wasn't the same sound. I thought, okay, well, it wasn't that. So I go to the ladies' bathroom. Camera follows me in there, and I open it up. There's a second door. It's got a door wedge underneath it on the bottom. So that door was wedged and open. It wasn't that. I saw a countertop, but it's also empty. There's nobody in there. But then I released the door to hear what it sounded like. It was that door. Trippy. And what I did notice is that the woman's door, which I could see from my chair, that door was closed the entire time, because when I did look back in that corner a couple of times, that's what I saw. The light, and the door wasn't open to the ladies' room. It would have been really light, right? So, as I did it, like the second time, I hear Patrick Doyle. That was it. That was the sound. Yes, it was. What did that? And I did that on camera. I did it a couple of times. I released the door about this far, pushed it back and let it freely close. Boom. So I don't know. But I heard it. And that's what it was. It was 100% that door. And it freaked me out. Because I'm back there looking around. I'm trying to debunk. I just want to get a simple answer. Oh, the door was propped open, it fell shut, or is this, or there was somebody in the bathroom that walked in there and we didn't see. Let's just debunk this thing. And that wasn't the case. That door closed by itself. 100%. There's no other explanation. And the one thing that stuck with me about this investigation is you have to understand, we were alone on this ship. And I know that you see this on we're the only people in this building during the lockdown. We're the only ones here. Well, you know what? That's TV. All right? And you don't know. I'm telling you, this is Jimmy Church telling you, we were alone on that ship. There was nobody else there. And we were in this lounge for probably 2 hours in one spot filming. Nothing, no issues. And then at the end of the night, as we're all sitting there, everybody's accounted for, right? This sound comes from the back. This. A closing door. Mind-blowing. And it just gets your mind, and me going back there and doing this I did this for me. I didn't do it for the cameras. I didn't do it for the audience. I need to figure out what made that sound, and I needed to put my mind at ease. And I didn't. I couldn't debunk it. Bizarre. There's a lot of other stuff that happened too as well. But those are my two experiences that were real. Disembodied voice, loud, clear, in the moment of silence, with all of us sitting there, and that female's voice, high pitch, that was nuts. And then that closing door from the back of the room. It's crazy. It was a lot of fun. And I'd do it again, too, as well. There were things I wanted to do on the ship. We didn't have the opportunity. We didn't have the manpower. But I wanted to go down to the engine room. I wanted to go up to the bridge. I did look in the pool room. There were cameras going in there, but that was all locked off, and you could only look into it from a window, so I couldn't pull that off. But I would love to do it again. I would that opportunity that we had there because of the pandemic and the ship being on total lockdown, that opportunity will never come again. So, but I would do it in a second if I could. Let's take our break. When I come back, Tony Rathman. And he's cool, too, as well. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. It's our Queen Mary recap special event. Going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we'll be joined by Tony Rathman, great investigator. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I'm a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our Queen Mary Ghost Hunt special event. We're recapping 4 days on the Queen Mary. I just went through the basics of what we did on Friday night, and I want to bring on Tony Rathman. And I think we have Tony here. Tony, are you there?
Press 5.
Oh, no, Tony is not there. Okay, let me try this again. It's no big deal. Let's see if Tony picks up this second time. Come on, Tony. Oh, man. Here we go. Let's see.
Is not.
No. Okay. Let's try this. Let's see if this works. And this is why I'm just going to let everybody know. See, normally we do sound checks. Tony, are you there? And no, I have the feeling Tony can hear me. I'm looking at the chat, But okay, all right. I'm going to stop doing this in real time. I'm talking about chatting with you. Let's just bring this on. So Tony, he's a specialist in EVPs. He's got all the right gear. There was a really great interview that was done with Tony, and okay, that is bizarre. I think I'm punching in the wrong phone number. Let's see. Let's go like this. And he showed all of his gear, right? And that's what was really impressive, where I just went, wow, okay, here we go. This guy knows what he's doing. And Tony, are you there?
Tony Rathman.
Oh, man. Live on the air. Tony, you need to pick up your phone. Let's try this again. Wow. Okay. This is why we always do sound checks. No. This is why we always do sound checks. I can only do what I am doing now. Okay, in a second, I am getting close to going to a break. But this is why we always do sound checks. And he was on the road, and I see what's happening now. Okay, so now let's see if we can do it like this. And I will try one more time. If not, I'll go to a break. We will get Tony here. We thought we had it all lined up and ready to go. We thought we were good. Nope. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our Queen Mary recap special event. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. To get Tony. We're texting. The numbers aren't connecting. We don't know what is going on. And I am. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, man. Oh, man. I just hit oh, that was funny. That was I'm just going to let everybody know that Tony was calling. Oh, there it is. And I hit the wrong. I hung up on him. Oh, man. Here we go. Tony. That was an adventure.
That was absolutely insane. Can you hear me now?
Oh, we got you. That was crazy. And you know what? Look, Jay is on standby. We'll bring Jay in a little bit. But right now it's you and I. We've got a few minutes before the bottom of the hour. Then I got to take a break. So I'm going to hold you over to the next segment. And I did let listen, Tony, I had a great time hanging out with you this weekend, you and your wife, total professionals. And
thank you. We did too.
And just let me get straight to the chase. You were there for 4 days. I was there for one with you. We'll discuss the other 3 days when we come back after the break. But for right now, when you and I were in the Churchill Suite, and we were going through the investigation, there was a moment there where you and I heard a voice, a female voice, humming. Right now, right. You probably weren't listening to the show right now. You were doing other things, but that's what I heard. And you and I haven't discussed it much. We discussed it at the moment that it happened, but we went off and did other things. Now, take me back to that moment. You're an EVP expert. This is what you do. But this was loud. This was in the room.
You could verbally hear this with your own ears. So whatever source was producing this was loud enough for it to be audibly heard with the human ear. You heard it. I heard it. I think there were a couple other people after one of us said it, also said, yeah, I heard that. And, I have not had an opportunity because I think you were the only one that had a recorder going at that time.
Right.
And which was a shame that there weren't others that we could have gotten a hold of that piece. But I'm so curious to find out if you've had a chance to review that and if anything was there.
I haven't had a chance yet either. And it's only because I have a busy life. And that's not an excuse in of itself. But I will get to it tomorrow. And now that you're back in Phoenix and you're in your studio, that you'll have the files tomorrow. You'll be able to analyze it. And I'm very excited to hear what you come up with. I have enough gear here, of course, to do the analysis. But You're the professional here.
Would love to get a hold of them. I'll look for them, and yeah, absolutely. We will dive right into that. We will pull that thing apart from top to bottom to see what's there.
How often does that happen? You know, EVPs are one thing, and you have all the gear to do that with. The Evox 2.0, for example. But this was somebody talking to us out in the open. How often does that happen for you?
Not that often. I mean, we've had it happen before, but it's rare. It's rare. Well, maybe it's not rare, but it is a minority percentage of the time. 90% of EVPs are only heard on digital playback of a recorder.
Mm-hmm.
When you can hear them with your own ear, that's I'd say that's maybe 10% or less of the time. Now, the more you do EVPs, the more haunted locations you're in, the more you have an opportunity for that to happen. So my percentage on 10% might actually be a little high. But it's not something that happens very often. And the real backup of it is what was captured on the recorder, because we could hear it with our own ear. You had an excellent quality recorder, that's going to capture it. So now what we need to determine is, was that a sound made from actual human throat vocals, or was this a disembodied voice that was speaking to us? And that's what I'm dying to find out for sure.
Yeah, and this was the other point that I'm trying to drive home. First off, this is my first real investigation. And for that,
how cool.
Yeah, and for that to happen to me, I'm still a little bit freaked out, but I'm also pragmatic, right? And the first thing I did, along with you, as we looked, you thought it came from over your shoulder, basically to your left. It was from my right, but everybody to our right and your left were big, strapping men. The voice didn't come from them, right?
No, it didn't. That's a great point, because they were all standing in that corner. That's the direction this sound originated from. And yes, this was, to me, clearly a female voice. And yeah, none of those guys, none of those cameramen made that noise, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and there's something else for me I think is unusual, and I want your opinion on this. I thought it came directly from my right, right where Greg was standing, the cameraman to my right.
Correct.
You thought the voice came from your left. Over your shoulder on the other side of the room. Two different directions, same voice, but there isn't a source for the voice, right? There's not a mouth there. So
and that's one of the reasons why I can't wait to hear what shows up on your recorder, because disembodied voices, unlike a human vocal voice, your ears are set up to pinpoint what direction that's coming from.
Right.
Disembodied voices are much more difficult to pinpoint direction, because it's all encompassing. This voice, if it was disembodied, and we have to verify that, but if it was, we were all supposed to hear that. And the fact that we did, and we were all unsure exactly which direction it was coming from, gives me even more evidence that this was probably a disembodied voice, because those are practically impossible to directionalize by what you're hearing.
Right, and the in the UFO world, which I'm very familiar with, in the UFO world, a daytime sighting is the Holy Grail. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
At night, yeah, okay, all right, it's cool. Daytime sighting, that's a whole nother standard of excellence, right? Is it the same thing with the disembodied voice versus EVP because of its rarity and the way that it goes down? Is that more like the Holy Grail of ghost hunting?
It is from an EVP perspective, absolutely. When you can hear it with your own voice, and those steps continue. To get an EVP is one thing. To get a Class A EVP is the sort of holy grail of EVPs. To get an EVP that's a Class A that you heard with your own ears prior to going back to listening to the recording, yes, that is absolutely the holy grail of EVP. Now, the whole holy grail of paranormal in itself is a full-bodied apparition. But when we're talking strictly to EVPs, yes, to be able to have heard it with your own ear, to be able to scrutinize what you think you heard and discuss it with other people that heard it as well. And then, like I said, go back and be able to look at the recording and say, oh my God, there it is. That's exactly what we heard, and it matches what we thought we heard. That is the holy grail of EVPs, absolutely.
Now, you were on the ship for 4 days. How haunted is that ship?
Very.
I'm convinced.
You know, we spent 4 days there, 4 days investigating. In fact, we were even there a couple of days early, helping set up the ISO cameras, you know, getting gear ready to figure out what we were going to be using on each and every investigation. But I could have spent a year on that boat with A, the size of that boat, and B, the amount of activity that occurs there. I mean, you're talking about the Empire State Building laying on its side. That's how long that boat is. So it's a big place. There's lots of places for them to hide. But each and every room that investigations were done in, things were happening. So the activity on that boat is absolutely amazing.
I was not prepared. I have been to the Queen Mary many, many times. I've lived in L.A. for 35 years. Been to the Queen Mary. I've only been on it once, but standing next to it countless times. And I was not prepared for the size of the ship. I don't think anybody is. When you walk into it and then you start to look around and you realize this is just one deck, and how big, I mean, and majestic, right? Were you prepared for this?
Absolutely
size?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Well, we've investigated there before a couple of times, and but the boat, like you said, is huge. It's majestically crafted. There is beautiful artwork laid out throughout the ship. The areas like the Queen's Lounge, just beautifully done. And then when you take the absolute beauty of on top of the size of the ship, on top of the fact that we were there to paranormal investigate, and the amount of things that occurred in the 4 days of the investigations. And the best part about it was that we had all sorts of different styles of investigation, different styles of types of investigators, yet everyone who investigated there was coming away with something. So that shows the amount of activity that occurs on this ship.
Now, one of the things that really impressed me is because we were alone on such a major ship. This is a ship. Was the silence. If you were alone, you know what I mean? You suddenly realize how quiet. You didn't hear people talking. You don't hear footsteps. No. You don't hear things. You don't hear plates or silverware or shoes or kids or baby. The ship is utterly silent, right?
Silent.
I mean, crazy.
Well, yeah, and we were setting up the ISO camera. So my wife and I, along with one of the PAs that, led us around to certain areas, we're like three people the only people in a room, like on the other end of the ship, setting this stuff up. And you are absolutely correct about that silence. You could hear a pin drop.
Yep.
But what an experience for trying to catch noises or things that were not supposed to be happening, because you'd never be able to experience that if the ship was running. But the fact that, like you said, there was nobody there, you could have literally tossed a pin and heard it fall because it was that silent.
Yeah, that's I need to stress that with everybody. So when we heard this voice, that voice was coming out of the silence of this ship. It was just, man, it freaked me out. I'm still uneasy about it. After the investigation, I need to take a break right here, Tony, so you're going to stay right there.
Okay.
But after the investigation, Tony and I are in the parking lot saying our goodbyes after this. We're like, man, that was crazy. It was
insane.
It was insane. And I called my wife, and she goes, so what's going on? I said, I heard a voice. I don't even know how to put it into words. I mean.
Yeah, and if you weren't there, it's really hard to explain it. It's something you got to experience for yourself. And people who weren't there, it's that personal interaction, and you got to be there to see it.
Well, see, and here's the key. Here's the key. This is the bottom line. From the moment that you are born, you are developing and evolving as a human your ears to listen to the female voice, your mom's voice, female's voice. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. You are your ears, right? And what do?
Right.
You look for the mouth. You zone in, and that's what you do. This is your DNA in action. This is us. And when that female voice pops off like that, and there's no mouth connected to it, there's no face connected to it. That messes with you, man. It messed with me, Tony.
Yeah. Oh, it does. No doubt about it. And that was a very, very distinct, very, very clearly audible. I mean, this didn't come from, it's not like there was anybody in the next room. It's not like, this was, and it was a humming. If I remember correctly, it was a female humming. And
it was like,
Right, like she was questioning maybe something we said, or I'm not sure, or wondering what we were doing. It was phenomenal.
Tony, stay right there. We're going to take a break, and I want to remind everybody that last year, websites shared over 100 trillion pieces of personal data. This is data taken on users of various websites, like the one you are on right now. I don't like being spied on by advertisers, which is why I use Virtual Shield. Tons of tech platforms have stopped their COVID-19 relief discounts, but not Virtual Shield. Virtual Shield continues to offer its loyal customers a whopping 50% off of all plans for life. If you want to browse the internet anonymously and securely like I do, please visit virtualshield.com/fade to black or click on the link right now in the video description in this video that you are watching right now, and you will get Virtual Shield VPN free today. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our recap of the Queen Mary ghost hunt that we did down in Long Beach with the Dark Zone over the last 4 days. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Tony Rathman when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. We are doing our Queen Mary recap, a special event, ghost hunting on the Queen Mary for the last 4 days. I was there for Friday night, and I had two incredible experiences. Tony was with me for one of those, and thankfully, Tony, of everybody that was there, it was you that heard it with me.
Right.
And this is your specialty.
It is.
EVPs, and you brought all of the gear with you to go and investigate. You were there for 3 additional days. What else did you find on the Queen Mary?
We ran into so many different things. But one of the really cool things about the Dark Zone is, they don't just present evidence or whatever was captured as, absolute definitive paranormal. I mean, they brought in guests to discuss what was shown. They brought in guests to discuss, what they thought about it. And these are strong investigators, people with history of doing this as well. But we caught lots of sounds on the ISO cameras. We caught a strange image on the FLIR that if you watch it really closely, the curtain gets pushed and it moves to the right, which is understandable because it's a heat signature off the FLIR of someone that was standing on the stage. But then it jumps over to the left and shoots across the second curtain, which was never moved. So that was really cool. We had gotten a full spectrum photograph. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. My phone clicked. All of our gear just literally came out of the car into the house, and I think that's why my computer wasn't working. But anyway, we took this full spectrum photo in the Queen Salon, and you can see where all the people are standing, and you can see which lights are shining down on them, and you can see the direction that their shadows are portraying from the lights that are up on stage. And then we have this shadow standing against this pole, and it's unique because there is no human body that is visible within the photo unless there was somebody hiding behind the pole or something. But the shadow is like very short and shaped like no one that we remember being in the room. So that was really cool to show and talk about. And then, the other cool thing about being on the ship for that long was that there were a ton of personal experiences that occurred, from everybody from Jay seeing stuff to Kathleen being touched. And I had my own experience. I was setting up some camera work, and I had forgotten the cord was way down the hall. So I went down to get the cord back, and I felt a touch on my shoulder, and in only my right ear did I hear a whisper that said, "Hey." I loved it. It was so cool.
This is the thing. I'm fully in now. I'm fully in. I'm fully invested. I'm fully invested. That ship has got some stuff going on there that I don't know if another investigation can go down like this again, where you have the ship totally to yourself, where it's that silent. But there needs to be anybody that missed this opportunity with the Dark Zone. You really you missed this. It's different than when you're watching something on television and you're thinking to yourself, "Man, I wish I could be there." You had the opportunity to be there, to look at the cameras, to see the investigations, to be a part of it, to be in the chat. And to be, like you were right there. And for people that are listening to us right now going, "Oh man, well, yeah, you did kind of miss it." It was pretty incredible. There, I posted an interview that you and I did. You were talking about the new Evox 2.0. But in that interview, your wife, and is she there?
She's not at the moment.
Okay. Your wife said it's Cherie, right?
Correct.
Yep. Cherie said during the interview, and everybody can go and watch it. It's up on my Facebook page. And Tony, you're welcome to. I'll send it to you, but you can share it.
Cool.
She says you were up on. You were in the bridge, right? With the Evox 2, and something happened up there. She mentions it briefly in the interview. What happened?
Well, there were two. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. There were two things that happened. Actually, the first one was in the Queen's Salon, and we were just testing the box because we've never operated it in a huge metal container, which is what the Queen Mary is, until you get up high enough on the decks where some of that steel casing that encompasses the bottom and flotation of that ship, it would block out, EMF, it would block out radio frequencies, it would block out cell phones, everything. So we were continually climbing in the ship to try to find out what rooms it would work in. Well, we were in the Queen's Salon, and I literally had the box on, and I just said, "What ship are we on?" And the answer came back, "The Queen," which we thought was absolutely fascinating. And then the other one on the bridge, which is the one I think you're referring to, I asked who the captain was, captain of the ship. Now, there's been more than one, but one of the Queen Mary gentlemen who worked there and has worked on the ship for 39 years heard the answer to the captain. I think the answer was Mars, was the name that had come through, and we reviewed it. It is there.
And was there a captain named Mars?
Yes, there was.
Oh, that's crazy town. That's crazy town. Now, and tell everybody, you can go and watch the interview on Facebook, and you can see the box that we're talking about. The Evox 2, I think most of us now are familiar with Spirit boxes, and Spirit boxes irritate the crap out of me. It's really bad television, right?
Right.
It's
right.
And it's just loud, white noise, continuous. You get the interaction, but you have to wait. You have to put up with loud white noise in between. Drives me crazy. You designed the Evox 2 to get rid of all of the irritating white noise, right? Is that basically what the Evox 2 is?
Well, yeah, it does. It does more than that, but that was the first thing to accomplish. I mean, we started out like everybody else with a $80 PSB7, and they do work. Don't get me wrong, the PSB7s do work, but like you said, you have this white rushing noise, and the faster you scan, the more of a rushing sensation they give. And the answers do come through the PSB7, but it is muffled within the white noise, the static sound, the switching of stations. And I thought there's got to be a way to get rid of this. And so we kept building. We built one right after another for years. And then we got a hold of some circuitry, and I said, okay, this is it. And we had placed a partial amount of that circuitry into the regular first E-Box. Then the second one, we applied some other components. And not only is there no sound until you get a response and they speak, so there's no white noise, there's no rushing. When they speak, it is clear. You can hear the voice. You don't have to say, okay, was that a voice? What word was that? It's almost as if you were listening to like a straight radio. I mean, the voice is clear. And then we made adjustments to make it scan larger frequencies than and to avoid typical radio stations where we know that they produce on. Regular radio stations usually have certain numbers. I mean, you can go to any city and find a 95.9 station. So we had the box skip those so that we're avoiding radio. And the whole combination of different circuitries and stuff we used in the box just created this unbelievably clear, no static sound, and has worked phenomenal for us.
It was pretty amazing to watch it in action because there's a couple of other things that come into play. One, you don't have the white static, right? You don't have the white noise. And two, you've got a visual display of the audio as it comes in frequencies as a graphic display, like an active graphic equalizer, right? But
correct.
So you have both. You have the audio and the visual coming in, and you can see the full spectrum of the voice as it comes through too as well. Very unique.
Well, that graph actually does other things too. We studied DVPs for so long trying to figure out when we got one on a recorder, what hertz or what megahertz were these voices coming in at. Well, that graph will also tell us all that. So when a voice comes through, and I never got a chance to switch through the screens, but when a voice comes through, it'll show you exactly what either megahertz or hertz that sound's coming in at. And if you watch those continuously, there is some repetition between 100 and 300 megahertz of where those voices are coming in, which is similar to EVP, also 100 to 350 maybe megahertz. So that we thought that was fascinating as well, that the machine can actually tell you what those hertz are that those voices are coming through at.
Yeah, and I also, from our little session in the Churchill Suite, I sent out a tweet to my audience to see, Kathleen and I did it together, okay, who heard the voices or who heard the voice? Did anybody hear a voice in the Churchill Suite? And the response was was instant, and everybody heard the female voice. And that was through the cameras. So, nice. Yeah, the voice was there. But there was also a bunch of comments about other voices, that it wasn't just the one that I was talking about, that there were other ones that seemed to be coming through. So I'm pretty excited about that. But when people are referring to this, you're the expert in EVPs. What is generating this? Is it EM? Is it electricity in the ether? You don't have vocal cords. That's not what is creating this, right? We know that.
Right.
Part. So what is?
Well, you got to think of it in terms of, my father taught physics, chemistry, and physical science. And when I got into the paranormal, some of the toughest questions I ever had to answer came from my own father, saying, how's that possible? How does that work? Well, again, most of the stuff that is being researched in the paranormal is all based on theory. But if you think about it like this, yes, there is no vocals. There's no throat to produce the sound. There's no vocal cords. It's not human speech. But if you think about it in terms of physics and think about it in terms of energy, and if you think how the vocal cords vibrate those waves of sound to get the molecules to produce those waves of sound, a spirit, being an energy being, can easily, I mean, they can manipulate any piece of electronics known to man. I mean, EVPs have come through phone calls, they've come through cell phones, they've shown up on answering machines, all the way back to the first line recorder that you used to crank, and it would record sound that was used by monks way back hundreds of years ago, or 100 years ago. They were getting EVPs. So you got to think of it as they're using that energy, whether that be EMF energy, whether it be radio wave energy, but they have the ability to manipulate waves or create waves of energy. So there's no vocals, there's no throat producing it. They're using energy to produce those sounds, whether that be inside a recorder to leave an EVP, or in our case, to vibrate the waves of sound to create what they want to say, which enters our ear and we hear it with our own ears.
Now, I went and posted some images that I took of you and Cherie showing some of your gear. You have got, I was so impressed with that. It's a dude thing, by the way. I was so impressed with, well, and look, and your bug out bag, I only got to see what was on the top. You carry a lot of gear with you. What are the main pieces when you go on an investigation? What are the essentials?
Well, essentials are definitely camera, video camera, which includes either full spectrum or night vision. We just take that all the time because, when you can record in all three visual spectrums, visual light, night vision, and full spectrum, then you're not missing. Those are the three that make up everything. And if you can capture photos and video in that, that's what you want to make sure you didn't miss anything. So that's a must for us. The other absolute musts are, we'll take laser grids just to make sure, because a lot of times when we go out, you want to know if something's moving through areas or shadow figures are happening. Digital recorders are an absolute must. We'll even bring parabolic mics. The hardest thing for us to ever do is if we're limited, like we're on a short flight or something and our luggage is limited, the hardest thing to figure out is what stays behind, because, I mean, just when we went out to the Queen Mary, we were driving a simple Nissan Altima, and we had two full of like those hotel luggage rack carts full of gear we brought in because we didn't want to leave anything behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the meters that are placed out, again, I'm not the expert here. I hear, this is a K2 meter. Or this is a, what are the meters that you had with you?
We had tri-meters with us. We had K2 meters. Now, all of these meters are measuring EMF, or electromagnetic frequency. The theory is that spirits use or give off electromagnetic frequency because of their energy makeup. And when you get disturbances, they can be paranormal. So the K2, the tri-meter, even the skull REM pod that we had, and we have all sorts of other ones too, but those are the three that I think that were shown on the Queen Mary. But those all measure changes in EMF. And when those go off, there is a possibility that something paranormal is either about to happen or is happening. So we used all those to identify that.
Yeah, EM is what I find about that, getting away from all of the paranormal investigations. I do a lot of research in science and physics and the universe and theoretical physics. That's one of my main focuses of research. All of physics, of everything, going back to the Big Bang and forward for 13.8 billion years, all the research is around EM, right? That's it. And
that's it. Absolutely.
And it is also, very interestingly so, a very big part of paranormal investigations. If you answer EM and theoretical physics and what is going on in the universe, then you sort of are figuring out what's going on in the paranormal world and spirits and consciousness and everything else that goes along with it, right?
Well, that makes perfect sense, because if you're talking about the universe and the creation and all that sort of thing, and EM is your sort of building one block. If you're talking about the life as a human and then what would maybe become after that life, to look into those similarities of those same blocks makes sense. And that makes, from a theory perspective, which in the paranormal, that's what we all work from, you got to start with something that at least makes sense, and that does.
Now, there was one other thing that happened. We need to talk about this. When we were in the Churchill Suite, everybody, I want you to understand, we had about 10 or 15 people in the suite. 4 of them are camera and sound, and then there were another 10 of us or so, 8 or 10 of us, that were part of the investigation crew. One of our group was Brianna. And Brianna, as it turns out, and I didn't know about this, is a singer, Broadway. She was in Rent, for example.
Right.
To Live and Die in L.A. Anyway, Brianna is this amazing singer. And what song did she sing? Somewhere Over the Rainbow. What did she sing? I can't remember the.
Well, she sang. I think the first one. Did she Skylark? Did she sing? Was that the first one?
I can't remember. Okay. Well, anyway, I don't think any of us were prepared for the voice that came out of her. Oh man,
was amazing.
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 And if you saw it live, you saw it live. Okay, so we're all in the moment. We've got the lights down. We got the cameras going. We got the candlelight. We got the little Tesla coil in the background. But around the room, we had a trimeter, a K2. We had the Evox 2.0. It seemed like we had a third, something else that lit up. There was 3. Well, anyway, Brianna sings, and after she's done, we applaud. And at that moment, everything in the room went off at the same time.
All at once. I mean, and not even like one after the other. I mean, it was absolutely simultaneously occurred right together. All the 3 pieces. The other one was the skull REM pod. But
right.
Shot off immediately.
Christmas lights.
Yep.
Yeah, Christmas lights. Well, we're in the dark, right? And so from where I was sitting, I could see all of the lights at the same time. They happened to be in a position where I could see it, and I saw them all fire off at the same time as she ended the song. Now, what's going on there? You, as an investigator, that's not coincidence, is it?
No, especially to someone who's experienced stuff like that before. But I mean, let's face it. Music has a huge appeal to every living human being, regardless of what type of music it is. While the song that she sang was from the time period when a lot of these people were traveling on the ship. I mean, it started out as a cruise ship, as a luxury liner. And, it had multiple uses after that. But, you had people like Winston Churchill there. You had people like, I'm trying to think of the guy they said the shadow looked like. Alfred Hitchcock was actually rode on the boat. So they picked music that fit that time frame, and hoping that it would entice paranormal experiences, because the music would draw them in, or they'd want to interact. And the fact that all those meters went off the second she stopped, I mean, it was like an applause, and not an applause from one meter, but an applause from all of them. Meaning maybe it was more than one spirit, maybe one just loved it and wanted to make sure they all went off. But it shows a correlation between what had occurred, what she sang, the time frame that it matched, And hopefully that correlated to the spirits that shot all the meters off, saying, hey, that was great.
Well, and here's the thing for me. We were in that room for over an hour, and the meters never went off. And they went off simultaneously at the end of her song. So then we tried to replicate it, and this is what was cool. She sang again. It didn't happen. We applauded. We did it. So it wasn't us that set it off, right? It wasn't our excitement. It wasn't us in the room. We replicated it. Now, if they would have gone off a second time, it would have said, okay, well, maybe the spirits were happy with that other song, or maybe it was just us, right? In our excitement and our applaud. Maybe we created some EM in the room that set everything off. But we tried, and it didn't set off a second time, which says to me that something unique went down the first time, and it was very cool to see.
It absolutely was. And a lot of people will say, well, you're surrounded by cameramen. You're surrounded by, all these electronics. But if it was any of the electronics in the room, they would have gone off prior. Like you said, we were in there for an hour. They weren't doing anything until she stopped her song, and then they all sparked up. So you're absolutely right.
Now, really quick, before we get to the break. Oh, let me thank you and Cherie before we get to the break, by the way. And I look forward to having you on the show in the future. We're going to do this very soon, everybody. We're going to do a full show with Tony and Cherie. But have you had a chance to go back and review the footage from the Churchill Suite? Because my memory says that the Evox 2.0 also said something at the end of her song. Did it, or is that my imagination?
No, it did, and I believe that was the second time. Instead of the meters going off when we retested it, I remember Susan saying it sounded like clapping coming from the
That's
Evox.
what it was. No, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. See, so much stuff went down. What Tony's referring to, after the second song, and we finished our applause, and we're now in silence, the friggin' Evox 2.0 goes, clapping. I was sitting right next to it. And that's right. It said clapping. Yeah. Wow. What a great time. And listen, I've got to head to a break, Tony, and you guys just drove 8 hours.
No problem.
You just drove 8 hours from LA. You've been working for 4 or 5 straight days, 6 days, 7 days. Relax. Give our best to Cherie. And I look forward to getting you back on the show, and we can just have at it for a couple hours.
Sounds great, Jimmy. Thank you so much. This was fun to talk about, and we'll talk again down the line.
Hey, Tony, where can everybody reach you?
I can be reached at entityvoices.com. The email is listed. I can be reached on Facebook under Tony Rathman or under Entity Voices. We're all over the place. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. The communication through YouTube isn't the best. It's just messaging, but definitely on entityvoices.com or even through our haunted hospital, which is coppercanyonprc.com. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out. If you have questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Tony. Behave and be well.
All right, you too, Jimmy.
This is Fade to Black. That was Tony Rathman. Entityvoices.com is the website, and you guys can do me a favor, get it up there on Twitter so everybody else can have it. I'll be right back. Going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Jay Bloomke right here. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to getthetea.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's getthetea.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend. Let's face it, you've always wanted to do a sky watch and see your first UFO. Today, it's easy. Just get your own HP7 3B Cobalt Jimmy Church Edition night vision goggles from Hoffman's Optics. This is the same U.S. military system that I use, featuring a Generation 3 blue phosphor image tube. That's right, it's blue, not black and green. This is the only blue system in the world, and it's waterproof, lightweight, combat-proof, simple to use, and ready to go. Hoffman's Optics help create night vision sky watches, and now you can see what everyone has been talking about each night from your own backyard. Just call 760-231-9929. That's 760-231-9929. You can click on the banners on our site or visit UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. That's UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code JIMMY at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code JIMMY. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our Queen Mary recap special event. I want to thank Tony Rathman for coming in. He just drove 8 hours from Phoenix, L.A. to Phoenix, and jumped on the air with us tonight. And he and his wife, Cherie, thank you so much for that. And now it's Jay Bloomke. And Jay, one of the principals over at the Dark Zone, but now internationally recognized show host.
What?
How you doing, man?
I keep hearing that. People keep saying, "Oh, you're a celebrity now," and it's like, what? I'm just this guy who does this thing.
You found your calling, man. I've got to look for a new gig.
Jimmy, thank you for having me on. And I actually did listen to your whole segment with Tony. That guy's pretty great. He and his wife are awesome. They came down for the entire 4 days and set up a lot of gear. A lot of the cameras that people were seeing out of the rooms, the isolated cameras, the ISO cams, he had set those up. He helped us out a lot with the event, and he brought his own unique gear. And I just think that they do something that nobody else does, really. So I think it was great for the audience.
You know what's really cool about Tony and Cherie? Total professionals.
Yeah,
total. I mean, they've got the amazing personalities to go along with it, but very grounded, very professional, very cool.
And, you know what's funny is they're also very laid back, right?
Yes,
they're very
yes.
laid back. They're very relaxed, but man, can they scramble? So we were up on the bridge the night after you were there, and they were taking part. It was Halloween night, and they were taking part in it's just an investigation on the bridge where there was an Estes session and K2 meters everywhere. And I asked him, I said, do you have your Evox? No, I said, would your Evox work up here? Because the Evox wouldn't work in certain parts of the ship. And he said, yeah, it would work up here just fine. And I said, can you go get it? And man, I never saw such a tall man move so quickly. I mean, that guy was out the door from the bridge. He had to go with a guide, but he was out the door. They went down all those stairs, all those decks. He came right back with that Evox, and they were ready to go in about 10 minutes flat.
The ship is so big.
It's vast.
It's you can't describe it. It's something that you have to experience. It's huge, and it takes a lot of effort up and down those stairs, deck to deck to deck. We're going 4 or 5 flights at a time, and I was like, whew, man.
Yeah.
And so you scan the 4 decks, right? You do that, and then you're looking at a hallway that's like a mile long.
That's right.
And you got to do that.
That's right.
But anyway, okay, really quick, before we get started here, can everybody still go to the dark zone and see the replays of everything? Is that accessible?
Yeah. So how it works is if you purchased a ticket. Well, I mean, first of all, most everybody knows that while they were watching during each day, the show would repeat immediately, like right away. But if you purchased a ticket, you have access to the video recordings, which are not quite up yet. The thing with the video recordings is there's usually a couple days where it has to process. Streaming files are different than video files, and they have to be converted over. So that they'll play properly. And, as you can imagine, these are gigantic files, right?
Huge.
So they're going to be converted. They have to be on the network that we're working with. It has to be activated and then converted into all the varieties of streams that you could have based on your internet connection. So, some people will get a 480, some people will get a 720, some people can watch the 1080. Stream, but that takes a little time. So
now, if they
have a couple days.
Well, and the other question I'm asking is, if they didn't purchase a ticket, can they still purchase a ticket and go and watch everything that we were talking about?
Absolutely,
okay.
And it's a little different than paying the $19.99 for the entire 4 days. You can actually just get 1 day if you want. You can go in there and just get 1 day. Each day is $4.99.
Right.
And you can either get all of them or you can just see, whichever one you want to see. If you had a certain, paranormal investigator that you were really interested in watching, you can just get that guy's day, or you can watch all the events. I mean, I think every day we were kind of like the show was getting more complicated and different and better. Each day was kind of a different presentation. So every day was very unique. And I think that most people would want to get all the days.
Now, let's get straight to, I
just heard. I was just given the word.
What?
Day 1 is up.
Day 1 is up. Okay.
Day one is up.
So the links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com. We also have it up throughout social media where you can go. I'm sure my promo code will still work, maybe too as well. You can try that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But which is Jimmy. But you need to go and check out this footage. And specifically, what was really cool, Jay, I'm watching you host. You're all over the place. When you're not hosting, you're producing, you're on set. You work for 4 straight days. Pretty incredible. And that was a lot of fun to watch. But you were also part of the investigations. Now, what I want to specifically get to was the door slam when we were up in Sir Winston's. Right. And now, for everybody there, we're going to talk about Jay's SD session in a second. That was pretty incredible. And I thank my lucky stars and everything that is holy that I was able to sit there and ask you those questions and do that personally. We'll get to that in a second. But at the end of our session, I want you to set the stage. You were there. You were standing to my right. I was sitting in the chair. But everybody was concentrated on one side of the lounge over by the grand piano. The back side of the lounge was untouched. Nobody went back there for the entire session. And we were up there for, what, hour and a half, probably? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So at the end of the session, we're all there discussing you. We're talking about you and your SD session. And then when the room went silent, that's when it happened. The door slam. When that went, what went through your mind? My heart jumped out of my chest.
But as you know, I didn't hear it. I was unaware of it, right? Because I was in the headphones. When I came out, that's when you guys told me, and you were up, and you guys were up, and you were over by the door, and I was going, what's going on? Because you really don't know what's going on in those headphones. You can't hear anything. With you're blindfolded, so you can't see anything, and you're just listening to the the chatter.
Now, when I went back, the cameras followed me back there, and what was for me, what was really cool is that Patrick Doyle jumped at the big Patrick Doyle, right? With he's obviously lifted a lot of weights. He spent a lot of time in the gym. He's a big guy, right? He's a big guy. He jumped, and I jumped. We jumped at the same time. And when I went back, the cameras followed me back there. Patrick stayed. I'm glad he stayed in position. He was listening for me to open and close those doors to see if we could replicate what was going on. The first door was not the gentleman's bathroom door. Was not the sound that we heard. It was the ladies' bathroom door, and when I opened that and closed it, that was it. That was the sound. And Patrick yelled from the lounge, "That's it. That was the sound." What goes through your mind when something like that is happening? That's not an EVP, right? Well, we're talking about something physical happening.
Right. Well, the first thing that goes through my mind is, where are all the PAs, right? Where is everybody?
Right.
And the truth is that there was nobody back there. It was just our group. We were up there. The escort that was with us was Commodore Everett Horde. He was with us, and he was sitting around by the entrance, which is the opposite.
Up the stairs and out the door. Right.
Exactly. We did have one person with us that was off camera, and that was Bernie K's wife, Regina, one of my best friends.
Right.
And she was sitting in a chair by the bar.
Right. She was at the bar. Right.
There.
Right.
Exactly. She never moved. So yeah, what makes that happen? I don't know what makes that happen. You go to a lot of paranormal locations, and there are doors opening and closing is a common kind of report of paranormal activity. I've seen it on video. Like, we had that happen at the Lizzie Borden house. So, usually I think you can rationalize it or debunk it. But this time we heard it. We didn't see it. So did it actually open and close, or were we hearing some kind of residual opening and closing, even though the door maybe never moved?
Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to review the footage of that event?
No. You know what I was doing all day long.
Yeah, I know, right. Because I'm curious, and for the audience, let's theatrics of the mind. I want you to understand that all of the camera and sound was on the other side of the line, but facing that wall where the door is. So maybe it captured that lady's door moving.
Was there a camera over there?
No, but they were facing that direction is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have not had a chance. It's a good point. I do want to look at it, and we do have those separate feeds. So I will be checking that out because I do want to watch it. And I'm very curious to hear your audio. I know you still have to go through it, and I mean,
Right.
There's so much going on and so much stuff to review. It takes time to sit down and review these things. So you need a good block of time. Now that we're wrapped with the event, I will have a little time to be able to do that once I completely recuperate. Oh man, today was, our teardown. So we were all on the ship from, 11 a.m. until I left the ship at 7. 6:30. I left the ship at 6:30, and we were running up and down that ship the entire day. And as Kathleen would say, my dogs are barking.
Yeah, they have to be. They have to be. The ship is huge. Jay, this is the thing. I came away, I was excited going in, but you know what? You expect the worst and then, just take what happens. Maybe nothing would happen and that's fine. And I get to go through the experience. That's not the case. I had 2 extraordinary, profound experiences on that ship with the voice in the Churchill Suite and then that door slam that happened upstairs. And I left there pretty freaked out, happy at the same time, right? I'm now, you know what? I'm a ghost hunter. Right? I'm a ghost hunter.
That's awesome.
But what makes that ship so bleeping haunted?
I don't know. And what's crazy is that, most people who are part of the Dark Zone and they're fans of the Dark Zone, they know I've said several times that I never have experiences. I don't feel anything. And I did have an experience, and so many people had experiences, and people that I trust and respect, whose stories are not mine to tell, had experiences. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I approach this field as a skeptic. I've been to so many locations, and sure, the paranormal investigators that I'm with, they get evidence, and but a lot of times I look at the evidence and I think, man, I feel like I can rationalize that. I feel like it could be this. I feel like it could be that. I mean, I think that a lot of evidence is open to interpretation, but when you actually have an experience and you see something that makes you go, I can't explain that. I don't know what that was, except for maybe I didn't really see what I think I saw. But, usually you know what you saw.
What else happened? Friday, my day there was pretty extraordinary. What other events went down over those 4 days?
So day one was, we had some of the YouTubers in there. We had Colin Brown, Omar Gosh from Omar Gosh TV, and Chris Starr. She was from the show Ghost Loop, but she's got her own YouTube channel that she's really starting to get popular on. They spent time with Aiden in room B340, and it was pretty active. They did a lot of things. They loved using the Estes method. And if the audience does not know what the Estes method is, I mean, you guys saw it a lot during the course of the weekend, but essentially what it does is it removes kind of the bias out of the equation, because when you're asking investigators questions, you're looking for the answer. And so when you hear the spirit box, you can interpret a sound that you hear to be the answer that you want, a name or whatever, and just you hear it a certain way. That actually happens a lot when you listen to somebody's EVP and you don't hear anything. It's like you'll hear the EVP and you'll be like, I don't know what that's saying. I don't know what it is. And they'll say, oh, it's saying John. Listen. And then you hear John. Right. So what Carl Pfeiffer, Connor Randall, and Michelle Tate developed up at the Stanley Hotel was a method to eliminate that kind of bias by, cutting the listener off completely. That person is just listening to the spirit box, and nobody else can hear it, and they are saying what they hear, and then that person listening to the spirit box cannot hear the questions asked. So the idea is the investigators can ask questions, and if they're if they get answers conversationally, then it looks as if contact is being made, that there are interactions happening. And there's no bias involved because the spirit box words are being interpreted by the listener, not by the person who asked the question. So the Estes, they did a lot of Estes method in B340, and all of the YouTubers got involved. And there we had Jojo from Kiss Radio, Kiss FM, and he was in there, and he was in the session, and he felt the bed move. It's funny because you're in there and you're cut off. You don't. It's like a sense deprivation chamber, basically. And so you're cut off from the outside world for the most part, and you can feel things around you. You don't know what it is. So several times, like Chris Starr felt like somebody got up on the bed with her, and so did JoJo. And they also use K2 meters at the same time, trying to get, if they can get double verification of activity, that's what they look for. And so those things were going off. There was a lot of activity going on in B340 in terms of Estes method, plus the K2 confirmations, plus these little cat balls that they use.
Wait! You just reminded me. Before we get to the break, we got to tell. The cat ball was a big part of our Estes session. Okay, so the cat balls are these little clear plastic balls with lights in them. All right, they're I'm holding up to the camera. I don't know, 1.5 inches in diameter. And so we start this Estes session with Brianna's better half. What was his name?
Her husband. Oh man, I wish I could remember. I'm so bad with names. You know what? I bet you if I looked in my files here, I could find it.
Okay,
but it's going to take me a while.
We should just both be shot.
Exactly. I want on a daily basis, man.
I want to say Brad, but I could be wrong. I'm looking here in my notes. I don't have it. Okay, Brianna. Adam. Thank you. Okay, so Adam is doing the Estes session. The cat ball is sitting on a pillow in the booth. It's sitting there by itself where it had been for the entire investigation. It's sitting up there. And he starts his Estes session. And the first thing that he says is ball. And the ball falls off the booth cushion onto the floor. Now, I was sitting behind Adam, right? I am facing the booth. I then see the ball on the floor. I'm kind of reacting to why would he say ball, right? And it was before anybody asked any questions, right? He wasn't asked.
Right.
It just came out, and we were all kind of shocked with that. And the freaking cat ball falls on the floor.
Right.
And nobody's in the booth. It's sitting there by itself. Now
because
look,
the booth was left open for the gent.
Now we left the booth empty. We didn't put anybody in the booth. Everybody was just sitting there with the K2 meter or the tri meter sitting in front of it, and the Estes stuff and the headphones for the session. Adam is sitting on the other side of the table, and I am sitting directly behind Adam facing the booth, right? And now that's the point where I have to ask you, that's a physical, Adam's got blindfolds on, right?
Right.
He's got the headphones on. He doesn't know anything. He's sitting in the chair, and after 30 seconds, first thing out of his mouth is ball, and the cat ball falls on the floor. Now,
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, what do you do with that, Jay? I
Well,
mean,
the
is
neat thing
that
about
just coincidence and we just blow that off, or is that something pretty amazing?
Well, I don't know, because, if something happens, once, maybe twice, it can be coincidence. But when things are happening repeatedly, there's something going on there. I mean, when you go there is a feeling, there's a weird energy in that place, and it's in part we do it to ourselves because of the history of the ship, right? You feel kind of like you're going back in time a little bit. But yeah, there is definitely a real interesting energy there. Now, those cat balls are, they're designed to light up when they're cat toys. They're designed to light up when cats tap them, and so they are touch activated or motion activated, and nobody touched it. It was just sitting there. And that's how they have a lot of Becca and Aiden have a lot of positive interactions using those devices, and in conjunction with K2 and Estes. And I just think that yeah, there was no breeze there. There was nothing that could move it. Something happened. What is the nature of that thing that happened? I don't know. I don't know. I want to know, but I don't know.
There's so many strange things. We could sit here all night if we picked each minute apart. It seemed like there was something going on throughout the day. It was a very strange experience.
I wanted to ask you about a moment where you made me laugh. Before I had decided to try Estes for the first time, I was just in the room, and I was just kind of, directing not directing you guys, because it was all reality. You guys were doing what you do, but the cameras, basically making sure that those guys were getting the shots that needed to be gotten and so forth. But you heard, I don't remember if it was Brianna or if it was Bernie, but somebody was doing an Estes, and you heard something right away, and I think it was because it was conversational. I can't remember what it was, but you just threw your hands up in the air, and you're like, all right, this place is haunted.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. That's right. Okay, yes, that did happen, and this is the thing, and the reason why I reacted. It was, the ST sessions are all very interesting, and they're a lot of fun. Okay, that's for sure. And there's a lot of tension there because you just don't know if you're going to have a direct answer, right? I mean, something direct. And it happened. I think it was with Bernie. Okay. I think you're right about that. But anyway, I asked a question, and he answered, and I was feeling a little bit funky. And then Becca asked him another question, and it was 2 or 3 responses in a row where this conversation was happening back and forth. Right. And that third pop from Bernie freaked me out. I mean, it was just like, whoa, yes. And I did. I stood up. I forgot about that.
What do you mean? What do you mean you were feeling funky?
I could feel that it was real. I could. It was just like 2 people were having a conversation in front of me, And it wasn't disconnected. It wasn't disjointed. It was actually real. I need to take a break. Jay, you stay right there. I'm going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about your SD session. And, and I got to say, I was there for it. And you know what? No matter what, 10 years from now, Jay, I got this on you. I got this. Let's take a quick break. Right. This is Fade to Black. Our guest right now, one of the principals at the Dark Zone, Jay Bloomke. But he was part of our investigations that night. Yes, producer and host of the event, but he was also one of the, how do I put this in my, he was one of the conduits. And it was amazing to see. I'll be right back.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our Queen Mary Ghost Hunt recap special. The Dark Zone. 4 days on the Queen Mary. Some of the best investigators in the country were there. I had the privilege to be there Friday night. And Jay Bloomke, again, one of the principals at the Dark Zone, but also now the host. The host, and you did a great job, but this is the thing. You were thrown into the hot seat, and you were thrown into the hot seat for the Estes method, which we're going to get to in just a second, because I wasn't going to do it. And the
why?
And I was in sensory overload at that point, and I was having so much fun, but my brain was racing. And I honestly, really, I didn't want to take it to the next level. And I know what the ST. I've had Carl and Connor on the show. I've had them on Coast to Coast. We've talked a lot about the Estes method, and I've watched the sessions quite a bit. And I know that it's a commitment. It's a commitment. And at that point, I just don't think my nerves could have handled it. I was in a perfect place at that point. You know what I mean? And but because I declined, everybody turned and said, Jay, and you decided, yeah, okay, all right. So for everybody out there, it's called the Estes method because of Estes Park, Colorado, where the Stanley Hotel is located. And the Stanley Hotel is the hotel that Stanley Kubrick used for Stephen King's book, The Shining, for the movie The Shining. It's not the same hotel in The Shining. That was built on a set. But it was the background.
So
Stephen King, right. With the Stanley Hotel. So that's where the Estes method was developed, and that's why it's called the Estes method. Now, this is the thing, and I set up Bernie K the best that I could for this, is that you need to just clear your mind, get the clutter out, and just go into that zone and let's see what happens. Well, that's the advice I gave to Bernie, and I think you were there when I gave that advice,
right?
Because I wanted Bernie to be okay with it, because he saw the first session go down, and he literally said to me, it may even be on camera. He goes, "Church, seriously, should I? And I was like, "You're going to be fine." But you were next up. When you start to go through the isolation, because now you've got blindfolds on, you've got headphones on that are blocked. Now you have a complete disconnect from the environment around you. Jay, what was going through? What do you see in your mind's eye? What is it that you're seeing?
Well, did you ever see the movie Altered States with
yes,
William Hurt?
Absolutely.
So that whole sensory deprivation thing, the tank, I've always wanted to do that, but I've never had the opportunity to do that. So this is kind of like, I would imagine something similar, because you are cut off from what's going on around you, and you've got this thing that becomes your new reality, and it's just kind of just happening in your ears. And two things happened to me when I was with the headphones on, when I was in the session. One is I did start zoning out and kind of feeling a little floaty, and kind of feeling like I was opening up, and in your mind's eye you kind of see outer space a little bit, star fields and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but then also for me, I kept pulling out of it, and because I was focusing so much on wanting to hear the words, right? So there's a lot of focus on trying to hear the words because you want to say anything that you might hear. And then there's also, periods where you can kind of go a little deeper, and actually detach a little bit. But I wanted to kind of live in that space, that detachment, and see what that felt like. But I was never fully ever there. A little bit here and there, but I would come out of it because I was really trying to, focus on the words. So that was interesting. But I got to say, the thing that startled me was, and it also was one of the things that pulled me out of it a little bit, was I kept feeling something rubbing on my leg.
Right.
You know, on my like the top of my thigh, and I was just, you know, it was almost like my wallet was being pulled or pushed or slid down my leg a little bit, and then I realized that my wallet was actually in my other pocket on the left side, not on the right side. So I have no explanation for that. I thought that maybe, you know, Becca was touching me, trying to get me to come out of it, but you know,
it was well, and as you probably found out after I was the one sitting there next to you, behind you.
I didn't know that.
Right,
I didn't know that, and I didn't even know Patrick was directly in front of me. I had no idea. I thought Patrick was behind me.
Right, and it was me, right, and so. This is that actually happened twice. It didn't happen once. It happened twice. Mm-hmm. And I will let me come clean about one thing. I almost touched you the second or third time just to mess with you. I was gonna do it. And I thought, no, that's not cool. Not on camera. He would like lose his mind. But I thought the opportunity is here. You know, for the moment, but no, I let it go. I don't know if I could restrain the next time around if that happens. But this is the thing: you freaked all of us out when you did that because we're having at that point you were speaking in Spanish, which was bizarre, right? Yeah. And then as you were going through and we were trying to figure out this Spanish connection and we were doing that. And then out of the blue, you said, somebody is touching my leg, and you kind of motioned your arm over in that direction. I'm the one there, and I'm looking, and it kind of freaked out all of us. And I thought that it was like your thigh, like from your knee to your hip is where you were being touched. But after the session was over, you said it felt like somebody was maybe pickpocketing you, right?
Yeah. My front right pocket, yeah.
Wow. And it was the same sensation the second time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you can watch the tape, everybody. It wasn't me. I was the one sitting there, but I did not. There was no shenanigans going on. I was so tempted, though. I was so tempted to do it, but it would have been uncool, you know, because you're in the zone. You're in another place.
It would have been funny, actually.
Yeah, ha-ha. Funny, ha-ha.
I laughed afterward.
But, okay, there's another thing that I wanted to ask you about the ST session. Yours was different. Everybody's ST session was a little bit different. Adam, Bernie K, and you. Yours seemed to, generally speaking, overall, was about families.
Yeah.
It was about a message. Oh, we can't forget. We can't forget about the documents. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay, so...
Because that came up with Bernie, too.
Yeah, that came up a few times, and that was pretty interesting. Okay, let's circle back before we run out of time. But yours was about families, and there was a Latino element because you were speaking in Spanish at a couple of points. Did you feel that? Did you know that you were speaking in Spanish? Did you know that you were speaking about families?
I identified the word and I just repeated it. I repeated what I heard. It said bueno a couple times, and then there was another Spanish word which I didn't know what it meant that I just said. So I didn't know what that was. You know.
Right. Did you have a family vibe? Did you see families? Was there anything in your vision?
No, I did, but I didn't. There was a lot of, I did feel like I was getting some kind of a weird family message, and I don't know what it was, but, I didn't think about this at the time, but since then I've thought about it a lot. And, my wife's mom passed away about a little over a year and a half ago, maybe not quite 2 years. And, my wife is Mexican, and her mom could speak Spanish. And so I didn't know if I was, getting some kind of a family message. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, could be. Very interesting.
Yep.
Now, okay. Two other things that went down in that SD session that blew my mind. And there was many of them, but there was a very strong wave of male-female flirtation. Right? That was going down between Becca, Brianna, and somebody that was in that lounge that liked to buy drinks. And
oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that went through in a wave, right? It was
right.
It was very, very, very strong, and it's something that you can't deny.
Right.
Right. It's not
that's the spirit that they look for in Sir Winston's is the gent, and the gent is, often the gent is experienced as a full body apparition that is sitting right next to you, drinking a martini or something, wearing a tuxedo, a period tuxedo from the 30s, and and he will not engage with you. And well, these are the stories anyway. He won't engage with you, and then if you look away and you look back, he's gone. The glass is gone. Everything's gone. So could the gent have been, being flirty with the ladies? I don't know.
It was there. It was tangible. Yeah. It was fascinating to see it go into that flow. And then there was, I think, everybody that went through the SD session talked about documents.
Yeah,
and the exchange of documents.
I forget what I said, but when I said whatever it was that I said, it reminded me of what I'd heard with Bernie and also I think with Brianna.
And Adam.
Yeah.
The first thing out of Bernie when we started to talk to him was radio and documents.
Yes.
Right. And it went completely into that direction, and it never really left our investigation that night. Documents was brought up repeatedly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know what to make of that. Is it, we need to continue to research, the history there? Is it some relation to the story of the man in gray who was arrested under suspicion of being a Russian spy from the ship? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. But that was amazing. That was amazing. Let me I think the question on everybody's mind is, this was a very, very unique opportunity, right? Having the ship, not only the ship, the entire port, right? Everything was ours.
Yeah.
Right. There was nobody there. There was no tourists. There was no looky-loos. The only people that I met there was the Long Beach Police Department when I took a break, and I posted those pictures. I don't know if you saw it, but I went out and hung out with them for a minute. Other than that and the security, we were alone on that ship. Is it possible to go back and get the ship again to yourself?
No, I think you said it earlier. I don't think so. I don't think that'll ever exist again.
Such a singular event, which it's a privilege, right? But you also want to take advantage of it while you are there.
Yeah. Well, look, when we came off of the Conjuring event, and that's the first time that we, had Aidan Sinclair part of one of our events. I asked him about, his relationships with the Queen Mary. He also has a residency that he does, a show that he does at the Winchester Mystery House and at the Stanley Hotel. And, I thought, wow, maybe we can get into one of those places and you would be the ideal, host with us on that one. And he thought that he could make the Queen Mary work because it is down for COVID and it is such a unique situation. And he does have a theater there. And he pulled some strings and made it happen. And we were so happy that he did, because I think it was our best event so far. And based on the things that we saw people saying in the chat rooms, I think that they enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely, I said from the beginning, we're not going to one up ourselves, we're going to 10 up ourselves, and I think we did. We 10 upped ourselves. I mean, the quality of the production, the complexity of the setup, the just the fact that we had all these little mini concerts and everything, because Halloween was canceled for us, really, and we didn't want it to be canceled. We wanted to do Halloween our way and bring it to people who potentially could not go out and do anything. And I think that came across. I think people really enjoyed the fact that, we were giving them Halloween when they couldn't have Halloween.
Well, I want to give the proper credit, aside from all of the amazing crew that was there, but that's Kathleen.
It is.
And I had a conversation with Kathleen. Oh, it was last week. I was driving, and she had told me, you want to see what we do. You want to see what I am capable of. You will see it at the Queen Mary. Okay, all right. Well, this is Hollywood. We hear those things all the time, right? I had no idea. When I walked into that production room and saw what I saw at that level, first off, everything is judged on catering.
Well, what did we have that night?
Catering was dialed. Well, anyway, okay. Catering was dialed. But the level of production, the amount of cable and connections,
3 miles.
computers and right? I would say at least. There was 3 miles of cable just in the control room. I don't know. I can't speak for the rest of the ship. But Kathleen and her crew, hats off, right? Huge applause.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, with the Conjuring event, we really threw that thing together in about 4 weeks. And I had a lot more kind of hands-on with the planning and the scheduling of that one, and our one of our other partners, Scott Perlman, he was very involved in that. And Renee Barnett was, essential in the planning of that one. And we brought Christine on during that event. And then since then, the events, the production itself the productions have gotten more kind of cumbersome in terms of some of the elements that we have to put together in advance. And I'm the only editor in the group, so I end up doing a lot of that, and it takes a lot of time. And I, this time we didn't have, we had Bill Brock and Stacey Brown the last time go out to the location. They shot a bunch of stuff. They sent it to me. I was able to cut it together. But this time I shot everything myself with the help of, we had footage that Aiden already had in his promos that he produced and was shot and edited by Carl Pfeiffer previously. So we were able to have access to that footage. But the post-production process on this was so, all encompassing that I really didn't have a whole lot of, planning, involvement in the planning of this thing. And I would say that between Kathleen, Renee and Christine, they put the whole show together. I mean, Christine did most of the scheduling, on her own. And then, while we were dealing with all the other things, a lot of stuff that Kathleen was dealing with for a great part of the pre-production was just the tech.
The tech was incredible. One step away from, people say this all the time, but here I can say it with confidence. I was there. Like one step away, 2 degrees away from NASA.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not joking about that.
No, it's intense. And what's funny? It's like, here's this woman who, has been an executive in television for years. She started as, a Chiron operator at CNN right out of college, and I've worked with her for years. She's been my boss on many TV shows, and now we're partners in this. And I'm always the guy who's like doing all the editing with all the computers and all this stuff. And she knows so much more now about all of this stuff because she's had her hands in it and she's living with it and she's purchased the equipment and she knows how to run it. I have no idea what she's doing in there. She just does it. She and Alex and Peyton and Matt, they were the wizards, behind the console. And they just put it all together, and she told me where to go and what to do, what to say, and I just did it, and we have a show,
It's pretty incredible. Alec is just, that guy's off the hook, man.
Alec, I mean, they look, all of them look very, very young, and the brains on these dudes will blow your mind.
I know.
They're so smart, so clever. They problem solve. They know how to do things. I mean, it was so funny. Peyton came up to me one day and he said, and this is a video editing platform, right? And I don't know if people know what this is, but he said, so I heard you edit on the Avid Media Composer. And I said, yeah. He goes, wow, that's so old school.
I know. Oh, that is hilarious. Well, see, this is the thing. Everybody can go and watch the video that I posted up on my Facebook page of the control room and control area on this ship. If that doesn't blow your mind, you're numb. But everybody there manning their stations is focused. There's not a lot of conversation that's going on in there. Everybody knows their gig, and they know what they're doing. And there's Kathleen, the director, right? Shouting.
She doesn't like to be called the director.
No.
She says I'm the director, but you know why she says that? Because she doesn't want the camera guys coming and asking her, okay, what's my shot?
Right. I stood in there a couple of times. I kind of snuck in, and I just felt like I was interrupting and stuff because I've got a loud voice and I'm pretty obnoxious. But I'm watching Kathleen do all those things. Okay, camera 2 and 3. Okay, we're going to fade in here. Let's go. You got the spot ready? Okay, we're going to roll that. It's 15 seconds long. Let's roll that. Let's bring that down. And that's it. And she's doing that for hours.
Right. There's nothing worse than hearing Kathleen go, okay, you're on. and then I don't quite hear it. And then she's like, you're live. And I'm just staring in the camera. This happened when I was interviewing you, by the way. When we I was asking you what happened in the Churchill room before we walked into the Sir Winston's.
Yes.
We did a little interview, and I was waiting for Susan to throw to me, and both Alex and Kathleen said, Q, you're on, at the same time, and their voices went over each other. I didn't understand what was being said. So I'm just sitting there staring at the lens, and Kathleen's going, you're live. Like, oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to make a confession. So I was goofing around in the ballroom, and I wandered into your shot. You were live on the air, right? I don't even know if you know this happened. So I wandered into your shot, and then I wandered out of it. There's Susan motioning to me, Church, quit screwing around. And she's pulling me, and she goes, Kathleen, just let me know you were in the shot without your face mask on. And I thought, I'm like, oh, man, I got to stand in the corner. Oh, no. And I walked into the control room, and I walked up to Kathleen. She didn't even remember, right? This is a minute later.
I know, yeah.
I said, Kathleen, I'm so sorry about that. She goes, Jimmy, that is the least of the issues I'm dealing with right now. You're good. And she turned her back right back into the show, and she was doing her thing, and I'm cleansed.
It really is. It's water off her back, Right. I mean, the other day, my watch broke. It broke on the Queen Mary, and it stopped telling time. And I don't keep my phone with me because I've got a transmitter on. The phone makes a chatter sound sometimes if you get a text and stuff. So I just didn't have the phone with me, and so I don't know the time. And I was in a part of the ship because I was trying to get something produced, and I needed to be back on, and I lost track of time. And so, she's like calling, Bluemke, where's Bluemke? He's got to be on, and I get all these frantic calls and everything. And so I rush down, and I finally get in my chair, and I'm like just sweat dripping down, and I'm panting and everything. And I do my interview, and I go and talk to her afterwards. And I said, are you okay? You pissed off at me? And she's like, I don't know. Everything's good. I don't even remember what happened.
Yeah, that's what she did to me too. Jay, thank you so much. Really quick, I am literally 10 seconds from getting cut off of the network. What's your next project? Can you answer that in 5 seconds?
We are asking people where we should go next. We are open. I think for the most part, we're going to take a break and get some rest for the end of the year and get ready for the beginning of next year. And we want to know where people would like us to go.
Yeah, very simple. And for everybody out there, you can go to thedarkzone.tv. And if you want to check out all of the footage and everything, you can go and purchase get a day, but go and check out everything that we talked about tonight on the show. Jay, thank you so much. I got to roll credits right now.
All right,
Jay Bloomke. Very simple. The Dark Zone Net 1 on Twitter, thedarkzone.tv. The links are at jimmychurchradio.com. Jay, great job. Kathleen and the crew, thank you so much. Amazing weekend. Jay's gone.
Oh, no, I'm here. I thought you were just talking. All right, thanks, dude. I loved it. It was fun.
Thank you so much, Jay. Now, go get some much-needed rest.
All right, buddy.
Fade to Black is produced by Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2020 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. That cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black of the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, our live election night special event. I don't know if you know this. Tomorrow is November 3rd. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. Have a great night.